Welcome back to the Finals Podcast, everybody. This week is a very sad week, unfortunately. Not only did the Iowa State Cyclones lose, but we do not have Nate this week. He is not feeling very well, but he will be back next week, so you guys can look forward to that. Just leave a comment, say, feel better, Nate, something like that. Kind of get his mood up a little. But this will be kind of a shorter episode since I'm solo on this one. I do have a couple of points that Nate wanted me to mention, and I, of course, have my own. There will not be a Nate's Great segment. I know, it's sad, but there will not be a Nate's Great segment this week. It should be next week. He should be back, so you guys can look forward to that. Now, let's start with college football. Let's just start off hot. The Iowa State BYU game. We started off great. Started off hot. Had a big touchdown. First play of the game. Had 495 yards of offense throughout the entire game. Scored only 27 points for that 495 yards. That's not very good. And doesn't also help that Rocco threw 2 pick sixes. I don't know what was going on in his mind. I don't know if it was just bad reads, what it was. But he just did not look himself towards the later half of that game. He started off great. He started off looking really good, and just it wasn't working for him. We had Conradi back, so that was big. He was also kicking extra points, I saw, so that's really good. And then we had Dominic Orange back, which was big as well. We ended up losing. It's a rough loss. Not so much I can really say about that. We played well, just not well enough to beat them. But props to BYU. I mean, they lost their top running back, and they were on the road in Jack Trice Stadium, and they still fought through that and won. And that's something a lot of teams can't do, so props to them. Looking forward to next week in Iowa State's schedule against Arizona State. So big pointers about that game. Sam Leavitt is out. Their starting quarterback. That's big for us because that is the engine on that team. And also their one of their wide receivers, Jordan Tyson, he's questionable for the Iowa State game. He didn't play against Houston last week, and he's questionable this week. So if neither of those players play, we're looking really good for that win. Hopefully we have a little bit more gas in the tank to get through this season. It's not what we wanted to lose to BYU. We probably won't make the Big 12 game now at all, even though our chances were pretty slim before. But we can still win out the rest of the season possibly, have a really good year, and just feel good going into next year. And one thing I wanted to say, we haven't talked about him yet on this podcast, but Iowa. Now, Nate and I, being Iowa State fans, we're not huge fans of Iowa. They're really high praised about their season this year, which they're 6-2, not a bad record, but I mean, look at their wins: Albany, UMass, Rutgers, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Penn State. Now, Penn State is the only good team on that list of wins. However, they're without a head coach and without their starting quarterback. And they won by, I think it was 1 or 2 points, something like that. It was a very measly win. Now, if you're an Iowa fan, of course, you're going to be very excited about that, very excited about your season. However, there's a reason you still are not ranked. There's a reason, and that's because of the strength of wins you have. You have losses to Iowa State and to Indiana. Both good teams. Indiana, a very good team, which Iowa barely lost to at their home stadium. But Indiana, it was an away game. They weren't playing their best. I guarantee you if they play again, Indiana will blow them out. Overall, I just think Iowa needs to slow it down a little bit. You haven't played much competition. You have a couple of tougher games coming up. We'll see how they do with that. But that's all I really wanted to say about Iowa. Just something quick in there. Nate wanted me to point that out for you fans. Next up, I wanted to talk about LSU fires their head coach, Brian Kelly. They owe him $58 million, I saw, which is just an insane amount of money. I mean, Penn State's head coach got, I think it was $49 million. So Brian Kelly getting owed $58 million is just ridiculous. I think I saw something where he was making like $800,000 a week now. He was getting paid from LSU, so that's just ridiculous. But that's another big top school that's head coach doors have opened up. So there's going to be a lot of coaching moves this season. I'm interested to see, like this offseason, to see who goes where, what's going to happen. But that's really all of college that I have. There weren't a whole lot of other interesting games going on. One thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the NFL, though, a little brief story. The NBA season has started. We won't be talking a lot of NBA this year. We might start talking about it more as it gets towards the playoffs, but we're just not huge NBA fans. I think I am more than Nate is, but there's just not a whole lot that happens in it that we feel like we need to talk about. But this is something I just wanted to bring up because I think it was just a crazy stat. So the NBA recently started up, and Victor Wembanyama, who's I don't know his position because he's 7'4", but handles like a guard on the San Antonio Spurs. Throughout the first four or five games of the season, he has more blocks than 27 NBA teams. Just himself, he has more blocks than 27 NBA teams. That is an insane stat line to me. I think that's crazy. That's something we haven't seen before in a long, long time. And it'd be crazy if he kept that up throughout the entire year. But we'll see. But I just thought that was a crazy stat. I wanted to share that with you guys. That's all I have for the NBA. We might have some other things later weeks. Maybe crazy game or something like that we'll throw in there. But who knows? Moving on to the NFL. Let's start with my Steelers. They lost to Green Bay. Not a very good game. Our defense, I don't know what we need to do to get our defense together, but it just looks god-awful. It seems like it's our secondary that's our downfall. I don't know what it is that we need to do, what changes we need to make to get them in there a little bit more, but it just seems like they're just not playing well at all. I don't like the way our defense is looking. That's our biggest concern. Our offense has been doing decently, but at the end of the day, our defense needs to perform because we're the highest paid defense in the NFL, and we're one of the worst performing defenses right now in the league. That needs to change before we can start winning games. We're on a 2-game losing streak? That's not good. We're probably on track for a 9-8 season. I like to joke about it, but we're always going to be 9-8, 10-7, I believe, under Mike Tomlin. We'll see in the coming weeks what needs to happen, but we need to get our defense in order. Next up, the Jets get their first win. I'm sad Nate's not here to talk about this because the big reason they won is Breece Hall. If you don't know about Breece Hall, he was a former Iowa State running back, absolute dog, and he pretty much won them that game. He was a monster. He played out of his mind, and they came back. I believe it was 24-38, 9 minutes left in the fourth. They came back, and they won. So props to the Jets. They got their first win. Aaron Glenn seemed super happy. Justin Fields was very emotional about it. It was a big win for them, and I'm happy for them. They deserve that win. In sad news, one of our all-time favorites, Cam Skattebo, on the New York Giants, he is out for the season. He, unfortunately, I think I saw something, he ruptured his fibula or something like that. In the game, his ankle went the other way, that it's not supposed to. So he's out for the season. He had surgery. I saw something that his surgery went well, so I hope he recovers. But that's just a big hit to the Giants. Not just their season, but it's a big hit to the other teammates. It takes away their energy. He was a big spark for them, and they're just going to be missing that spark for the rest of the season. It's going to be really sad to see the Giants without him on the field. I saw a lot of people talking about the hip drop tackle that happened with them, but at the end of the day, it happened. It's not something that you like to see, but it happened. I just hope he can make a full recovery, come back next season, and play just like he has been. One other team I want to talk about is the Denver Broncos, who look just unstoppable. They put the beat down on Dallas. I think they won by, I don't know, it was 24, 25 points. They beat them down. I mean, Dallas is typically one of the best offensive teams in the NFL this year that I've seen. It's just their defense that lets up on them. The Broncos, and we all know the Broncos, their defense is elite, but their offense now is very elite too, and they showed that. I mean, they just were shutting down CeeDee Lamb, they were shutting down George Pickens, they were shutting down Dak Prescott. Just they could not get anything going. They could not get any momentum. It seemed like that entire game, and Bo Nix just looks absolutely incredible. Next up is Joe's Triple Threat. Unfortunately, last week I went 0-3. Now my all-time season record is 5-5. I'm at 500. Not terrible, not great, but I unfortunately lost. Indiana absolutely beat the brakes off of UCLA. That game wasn't even close. I believe I had Oklahoma beating Ole Miss. That didn't work out at all. And I also had the Steelers beating the Packers. And that obviously didn't happen. 0-3 on the week. Didn't work out very well. Hopefully this week works out a little bit better for me. This week I have 2 NFL games and a college game. For the college game this week I have a Big 12 game. Cincinnati versus Utah. Utah is 9.5-point favorites. Now Utah's offense has been looking really good this season. They've been scoring a lot of points. And Cincinnati has also been doing really well. Utah is 9.5-point favorites, but I'm going to take Cincinnati on this one. I just think they're a better team, and I think they're going to come away with the win. I think they just have a better overall team, personally. So that's who I'm going with that game. The NFL games, the first one is the Chiefs versus the Bills. A AFC championship rematch from last year. Should be really good to watch. Chiefs are 1.5-point favorites. Not surprised by that. They've been playing really well the past few weeks. But I'm going to take the Bills. I think Josh Allen is looking for a revenge game, and I think he's going to get it in this game. The next NFL game is the Broncos versus the Texans. Now, this may not look like a decent game on paper, but the Texans have been playing better the past couple of weeks, it seems like. CJ Stroud is getting his mojo back, so I hope they're able to get something going. And the Broncos have obviously been playing extremely well. The Texans are surprisingly 1.5-point favorites. I don't know how, but they are. But I'm going to take the Broncos on this one. I just think they're playing insane football right now. Offensively, defensively, they're just on a roll, and I think they're going to continue to roll throughout the rest of the season. And I think they're going to steamroll the Texans. Before we get into fantasy football, and for our last segment, I want to shout out our sponsors. This podcast is brought to you by Just Toast, the toasting experts, best toast in the country. It is also sponsored by Nate and Maddie Can Boxes. Maddie hasn't been doing very many can boxes, but Nate's been planning a lot. So we'll see how that goes. But they make great stuff, good quality products. So getting into fantasy a little bit, I faced Nate this last week, and I lost. It was a very close game. I lost 134 to 141. Some big key pointers. I had Devontae Smith in my starting lineup. It was about an hour until kickoff. I took him out, replaced him with Emeka Egbuka, and that was a mistake. That's what costed me that game. Devontae Smith ended up scoring 14.4, and Emeka Egbuka ended up only scoring 6.5. Now, the reason I switched them out was because Mike Evans and Bucky Irving are out for the Buccaneers. They were going up against the Saints. I thought Egbuka was going to have an insane game. It didn't happen, and I paid the price. On Nate's end, Saquon broke out. He had 33.4 points. Absolutely insane game. Thankfully, McCaffrey had the worst game of his season at 9.8 points. He didn't play very well. But this big surprise, Travis Kelce got 21.9 off for the Chiefs. And he played out of his mind. I don't know why, but he ended up exploding, and I lost. So I'm not really looking forward to that. I'm now 3-5 on the year. This week I faced Sean. I actually faced Sean in both of my leagues, and I believe Nate plays Ariana. So it'll be an interesting games. I am projected to lose right now. I think it's 54 to 46%. So I hope I can pull out a win and get to the playoffs for this fantasy season and start winning some more games, because that's what I need ultimately. It's not fun when you lose. It's not fun with your fantasy, your college, and your NFL team. Losing was not a great week for me. Nate's Cardinals were on a bye week, so he's lucky with that, but he's probably happy about his fantasy win. We haven't really talked about it much. I tried not to bring it up because I know I lost. But yeah, this pod was just a little bit shorter. I just wanted to kind of give you guys some pointers. It sucks not having Nate here, but we managed without him. He will be back next week, hopefully, if he's feeling better. Like always, we want to thank our last sponsor, Earl's Doghouse. Great place, good fun, good beer. Just watch out for the manager, Earl. He likes to try to steal your food, and he likes to try to hug and kiss you. I don't know why, but that's just his mojo. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Tune in next week to have Nate back, and let's get some comments out there. Leave a like, leave a comment telling Nate to feel better, and we'll see you next week.